everybody, I'm Suzanne Walker here at the Indiana State Library, and today I'm going to show you how to use the KitKeeper reservation software to reserve a book club kit or a storytime kit for your library. The KitKeeper reservation software is the system that we use to coordinate our book club kits, our storytime kits, our big idea storytime kits, which normally have STEM aspects in them, as well as our Lego kits and our Duplo kits. If you work at a public library in Indiana or an Indiana school, you are welcome to use any of these kits. Checkout time for the kits are 90 days for book club kits, Lego kits, or Duplo kits, and 60 days for storytime kits or big idea storytime kits. Now, in order to use this service, you have to be an InfoExpress library. InfoExpress is the courier system that connects all the libraries in the state. If you are not an InfoExpress library or school, you will need to work with a public library or a school that is on InfoExpress in order to do your reservation. So there's two ways to do that. First of all, you can just have them make the reservation for you, or you can go ahead and make the reservation, but then you're going to need a contact at a library that is an InfoExpress library, and you're going to need to loop that contact in for all the stages of your reservation. So basically that means you're going to need to make a friend at that public library so that they know that you're going to be reserving a kit, and then you need to forward on any emails that you get about the reservation. Now that you know all of that, let's go ahead and take a look over at the software. So this is the Indiana State Library's website. I'm going to go ahead and go to Services for Libraries, and then I'm going to click on Storytime and Lego Kits and Book Discussion Resources. This page is a wealth of information all about our Storytime kits. But for now, we're just going to come down and go here to reserve your kit. This is the Indiana State Library's KitKeeper reservation system. On the system, there are 3 ways to reserve your kit. I like this first way the best. We're going to click Go to see a list of all the kits. Now, we own over 250 book club kits and about 50 storytime kits. Sometimes it can be hard to sift through to see what we have, but luckily at the top, we've got some tools here that will help you. First of all, you can sort by different genres. And what that really means are the type of kits we have available. So we have fiction book club, nonfiction book club, storytime kits, big idea storytime kits. And again, those have a STEM aspect to them, Lego kits and Duplo kits. If we just chose Storytime Kit, we could click on that, hit select, and then it's only going to show us the Storytime kits. The other thing that's really nice about this view is that you can actually see everything that's in the kits, which is really helpful for things like Storytime kits. For example, we can see that in the Apples kit, there's a bunch of books all about apples. There's also a magnetic apple fractions game. There's a CD, there's a plush Johnny Appleseed, and there's an activity guide. So you can get a sense of what's going to be in that kit before you get it. Something else I wanted to show you, if we go back to fiction book clubs, something that we're starting to do is to actually put descriptions of each book in the KitKeeper software. They're not there for all of them yet, but they will be soon. And you'll be able to go through and kind of get a sense of what the book is about. Also, you could use the Control F on your Windows system and whatever find feature is available on a Mac to see if you can find a book about what you're looking for. So say you want a book that's got magic in it, you can just use magic up here as your keyword. And then we can see The Boy, the Bird, and the Coffin Maker came up, Snapdragon came up, and Wink came up. Maybe you want a book about fairies. We've got 13 Treasures came up, and The Night Fairy came up. Maybe you want a book that has to do with mystery. And we've got 7 books that came up with the word mystery somewhere in that description. So this isn't going to be like the be all end all. This is not like doing a keyword search. At least it'll give you a sense of what the book is about. And you could have a way to kind of look for something that might be a theme that you're going to discuss. So going back to the top, you can filter by genre, you can filter by age group. You can also filter by title or author. The other thing this gives you is it tells you the contents for the book discussion kit. In some book discussions, it's going to have a folder and 15 copies of the book. And then in other kits, it's actually going to have a folder of resources, 15 copies of the book, and the audiobook. So that's another thing to kind of take a look at. Once you're ready to reserve your book, you're just going to click the button below that says reserve this kit, and it's going to take you to this great calendar. And on the calendar, anything that's grayed out, you will not be able to reserve for those dates, but you will be able to reserve for any of the dates that have a white box and a blue link in it. And you're looking for those blue links. One thing to keep in mind when you're getting ready to make your reservation, suppose I want to do a book club on September 20th. I don't want to reserve this kit for September 20th because I want to be sure to get it maybe a week ahead of time so I can either distribute the books, read the book myself, be ready for my discussion. I want to be sure I have it at my library by that date. So you want to reserve at least a week in advance of when you actually want it. So I'm going to go ahead and reserve it for September 13th. Once you click on that, you're going to get this information and this form. So the information at the top is really handy. It's going to tell you how long these kits check out for. This is a book club kit, so it's going to check out for 90 days. It also talks about if your school or library does not use InfoExpress, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that here in just a second. So filling out this form is super simple. You're going to put in your name, your phone number, and your email address. Under notes, we usually leave that blank. Under pickup library, you're going to choose your own library or the library where you're going to pick your kit up at. I'm just going to choose Indiana State Library. Okay, the next thing I'm going to mention, suppose you work at a library that doesn't have InfoExpress or you're at a school that doesn't have InfoExpress. The first thing you're going to do is you need to call your public library and make a friend there. Make sure that you can figure out who's going to be your contact to help make sure that you get the kit when it arrives at that public library. Then you're going to go ahead and put their name in this box by the patron name next to your name. So I've got Suzanne Walker / and I'm just going to add Beth Yates's name there to pretend like she's my contact, right? That way, when I get your reservation, I know that you've talked to somebody at that public library. So then after you've done all of that, you're just going to click reserve this kit. One more thing I wanted to mention, this pickup library list should be accurate, but it doesn't update automatically when InfoExpress list updates. So it's possible that you might be an InfoExpress library and you might not be listed here. If that's the case, just let me know. It's also possible that you might actually put a library here as your pickup library and maybe they're not actually a pickup library. And if that's the case, as soon as I see that, I'll contact you and we'll come up with another solution for you. We generally try to keep that list updated, but it doesn't update automatically again. So we just have to keep referring to the InfoExpress list. Okay, so after you've filled it all out, you're going to click reserve this kit. You're going to get this kit reservation confirmation. A couple things about this. This will also be emailed to you. The email looks exactly like this. It's going to have the title of the kit that you reserved. It's going to have the author's name and then all the information that you put in. Your pickup date, so that's the date that you want to get it by, and then the due date. And also it's going to have your pickup library. The last thing I want to mention here under contact information, it is going to say Young Reader Center at library.in.gov. That's an email address that you can use to email me if you have any questions about anything. So another way that you can reserve your kit, I'm going to go ahead and go back to KitKeeper Main. I told you there's 3 ways. So we've done one. Let's look at the second one. So the second way is if you know the title of the kit that you want to reserve, you can go ahead and just pick it from the list. So this is a long list of all of the different kits that we have. Maybe this time we're going to go ahead and do a Lego kit. So we're going to go ahead and check out Lego kit number 1 and click go. Then it's just going to take us straight to that calendar. So if you know the title, you can just choose the title from the list and then go straight to the calendar. And again, you would just reserve it the same way. If we go back to KitKeeper Main, another option is to just see what kits are available. So say you know you want to do a program, but you keep running into kits that aren't available, you can go ahead and go to the month that you're interested in doing a program for and click go. And it's going to take you to a different calendar. So this calendar is going to have green for all the days that have a kit available. And if you hover over it and you'll be able to see off to the right, the list of the available kits. And if you click on the date that you want, these will actually become blue hyperlinks that you can scroll down and see everything that's available for that date. So this is the KitKeeper reservation system. It's not a very sophisticated system, but it does what we need it to do. If you have any questions at all, you can feel free to reach out to me, Suzanne Walker. My email address is there on the screen, suwalker@library.in.gov. Thanks so much and good luck with book club kits.